All right, everybody. Welcome to GEG Asia Pacific, one of our weekend events. We do this now about 3 times a year until our big one in January every year. Well, January, February, it's kind of hard to work out the schedule. But anyway, keep an eye out for that. But today and tomorrow is Google Educator Groups Asia Pacific. There's a couple of GEGs involved, GEG Nagoya, as you can see right there, and GEG Delhi NCR. And we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence because AI, it's all the rage, not only in education, but there's a lot of talk about it. So I'm going to share my screen and just jump right into it. And I'm going to share my entire screen here. And I do have a few slides that I'm going to jump into. Now, if you're actually watching this, feel free to pop into the chat if you're watching it live. But if not, hey, get in touch a little bit later because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. So today we're talking for this session, we're going to talk about Flint. It's an AI tool. It's a paid kind of tool, right? Like other ones, like School Magic or Magic School. Like I said, I'm still kind of learning all these things myself. It works very differently from, say, ChatGPT, OpenAI, and Gemini, which is Google's AI. And others that you might have seen. And I'll tell you about that in just a moment because I piloted this back in June, and I was quite impressed, and my students liked it as well, which is why I'm telling you about it today. But we're focusing on Flint for social studies teachers. But if you're not a social studies teacher, imagine yourself and how you might do it. Just real quick, my name's Nate. I live in Nagoya, Japan. I teach at Nagoya International School, and I do a whole bunch of educational technology stuff. And when something is new and all the rage, I do want to learn about it, and AI is one of them. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, socialstudiessamurai.com, and more recently, JapaneseHistoryTrip.com for some interactive 360 videos. Well, maybe not interactive, but you can kind of look around. Anyway, that's not the point. Today, we're talking about Flint. So in this session, we're going to talk about what Flint is. I'm going to quickly take you through the website very briefly, and then I'm going to show you what I've done with my students, and then I'm going to show you how to make something with Flint. But what is it? That's our next little thing. We're going to learn what it is. We're going to talk about the workflow. I'm going to give you a sample activity and then how to build one. So let's jump right in. And I know I'm going quickly here. What is Flint? Basically, Flint is an AI platform that, yes, you can use from kindergarten to grade 12 or, pretty much any level of education, right? I do feel that it is very good with personalized learning. This session is not to get into the debate about AI and is it going to destroy the world or not. It's here to stay, AI, right? So I want to see how I can harness it for my students' learning and teach them how to use it properly, right? And this is a good tool, Flint, for using it for personalized learning, as well as monitored learning, right? The students using the AI where the teacher can see what's going on in real time. So it kind of works, if you look at the second line there, kind of like a tutor. Students are basically having a conversation with the AI, but it's guided by the uploads and the prompts that you provide as the teacher. And I'm going to show you how you can upload PDFs and link websites and link videos where the AI pulls from the sources that you want it to pull from for the students to learn about whatever topic it is. You can also upload assessment criteria, which I like. Now you can, use Flint to create your own rubric. It'll generate one for you that you can modify. I'm an MYP and DP teacher in the IB program. So I just upload the MYP criteria for that year level. And we'll show you how that works a little bit later. So the workflow is kind of like this. You identify a learning objective. Then you design an AI, right? An artificial intelligence for your students to talk to, right? And that's where you have your resources and your prompts and things like that. Students will get personalized help as they go through. And what I like about it is they talk to the AI, they can say, I don't really know what this word means. Can you tell me what that means in simple terms? Or what does this mean? Or I can't remember the history of, if it's for history, for example. And the AI will tell you, because it can pull from the rest of, the internet, right? But it'll focus on the resources that you give it. And you can get AI-powered feedback, and that comes in the form of feedback at the end where students can see where their strengths are and where they could improve. And we'll show you how that looks a little bit later. But that's the basic workflow, right? You choose what the learning objective is, you design it, the reading level, the language that you're going to use. There are 50 languages in Flint right now, and that's going to continue to grow. And again, they can ask questions, right? It's a very personalized, individual thing. You could have students work together on one computer in pairs, but they can also work on their own to make it extremely personalized. And again, you get feedback. So let's have a look at an activity example, right? Here's a sample of something I did with my students in June. Now, the topic was the First World War. The objective was to discover, so that they can decide for themselves, the different arguments for the responsibility for the First World War. Who's to blame? Which is still a debate. Historians still debate this. And the prompt was something like, which country was most responsible for the outbreak of World War I? You choose the simulation. The AI Flint will give you 3 options. I chose the one as an investigative journalist. When we go to build another one, you'll see what those options look like. And the resources I used were websites, YouTube videos, and some PDF documents I wanted students to use. And I'll point out that the PDFs that I uploaded were pretty high level. I just asked the AI to give the reading level of the conversation to be at a grade 10 level. And the assessment criteria was years 4 and 5 for the MYP. So I'm going to pop out of this, and I'm going to jump into Flint. Now, maybe I should have done this first. This is what the website looks like. Let me just zoom in just a little bit more. All right, so it'll give you, for example, cases where you can look at what does a middle school AI lesson or activity look like? What is social studies, science, or whatever? It has different resources. You can look at some of the case studies and things like that and see how other teachers felt about it. So if you were to scroll down here, you can get some testimonials, for example. And you'll notice that the slide that I chose to tell you the workflow, I just kind of pulled from here, actually, right? And essentially, Flint is quite user-friendly. I haven't put something together in about a month or so with this, but I want to show you how it works from how we used it. So here's what it looks like on the inside, right? And so I've got my workspace for my school. It's the only workspace I have, but you could have multiple workspaces, your school or within departments. Yes, you can create specific class levels, right? Which I used for MYP I&S grade 10, for example. I will point out that there are templates, right? Let me just zoom in down there. So you can set your, activity that you create, your tutor, if you will, and then you can create a template for other people to draw from. And you could scroll through and have a look and find out what other templates there are. There are loads and loads and loads on here. And of course, you can use the search bar to search for something more specifically, World War I middle school, that kind of thing. Now, let me just go back here to Flint. And you'll notice I've got a couple here. So I'm going to click on the one that I used with my students. So I'm going to click on this one right here. You can see it was an investigative journalist. So let me click on that. Come on now, open that up. Okay, great. Now note here, I've not set a time limit. I could limit that to 40 minutes if I want, or 30 minutes if it's just part of a 1-hour lesson, for example. I'll show you all this other stuff on the side because we're going to build one together in a moment. But this is what the students see first. It says, welcome to our investigative series on the outbreak of the First World War. Today, we're diving into the complex question, which country is most responsible for the outbreak of the First World War? Let's explore different perspectives and evidence together. What are your initial thoughts and on this topic? And what the students would do, if you can see down here, it says type a message. Well, they can start typing a message and say, hey, well, this is what I learned so far, and this is kind of what I think. And then the AI is going to talk back to you. It might say, yes, that's actually correct. Have you also seen that, Serbia believed this, or maybe Russia believed that kind of thing? Note here, too, that the students can also upload documents and videos and then ask the AI questions about that. Well, what do you think about this video? How accurate is this in terms of who's responsible for the war? And then the students basically have a conversation. And what you'll see in this area here, what the students see is things will pop up and the AI will talk to them and then they'll talk back to it. So you can see here, I can look at all these, these conversations that were had. Now I'm going to go down here because you can see, and I'm just going to move this over just slightly, get away from a few of the names. And you can see that after the students have submitted it, they've been given an assessment. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Now, the MYP scores from 1 to 8, right? So you can see here, it's, the assessment the AI gave them was, for the most part, 5 to 6. Here's a solid 6, maybe 3 to 4, one with a 7. Maybe we'll look at that one as our sample. But remember, this is just what the AI is thinking about. You as a teacher can go back and you can change what that assessment is. So we're going to pop on this, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to see what this conversation looked like, okay? So let me just kind of scroll here a little bit. In fact, I'm going to go back up, sorry. So you can see this student spent 20 minutes and 37 seconds on this. And I'm going to pull this up just a little bit. And so they got the very same prompt that everybody else gets. And it asked them, what do you think? Well, I think that Germany's to blame. What do you think about this opinion? That's a good way to start, right? This is what I think. And look at this here. It says, that's a strong opinion. Many historians have, by the way, I have permission to use these for presentations from my students when you see names. And then it gives them some other thoughts. And I like this. Look, it's important to consider multiple perspectives and evidence from various sources to form a well-rounded view. So not only is it telling the student that, well, yeah, that's a strong opinion. You've made your decision. Very simple one. And then it gives them some other things to think about, not only in the next thing, for instance, this happened, but, well, keep an open mind, essentially what it's saying. And then the student's talking back to the AI, and then the AI talks back to them. It brings up, and this is something I know for a fact I didn't go into a great detail about, was this blank check, the blank check Germany gave Austria-Hungary. I see a couple of people watching right now. Go ahead and pop a question. I got my phone going on here if you want to have a chat here. And so the conversation keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, right? And you can see that it's getting very deep and very rich, right? You can see the student here has been giving good paragraph feedback, comments. Sometimes there's questions. Let's just scroll down a little bit more. And then the student says, I think it is truly a collective failure, as because the combination of aggression, alliances, different policies, nationalism, World War I began. And then you've articulated a well-rounded perspective. And honestly, a lot of historians agree that there was a lot of stuff going on. And that's why World War I happened. You can't blame one single country. And I did not give the students my opinion. And I did not tell them in the beginning that, hey, it was collective responsibility. So this student kind of, worked on that with the AI. I would agree with this, but it might be a little bit different. Now, let's go and have a look at the feedback here. So I want to zoom down here a little bit. And note here, too, I can duplicate the session for other students to use. I can print it as well. I can print this conversation that the student had. And here's what the AI gave the student. I can click on that, and I can change the grade if I want. I can give my own feedback. It says, no, this was a demo for us, right? But if I want, I can give my own teacher feedback in there. And so if I just click on that, then I can edit and say, well, I've changed the grade because, or this is what I think. Change the grade and then send it back to the student, right? And then the AI says, here are your areas of improvement. When I click on, notice when I've clicked on this, it's highlighting certain things, right? Where the students gave their comments. I think that's really cool. And then note down here, it says, as your next goal, you could focus on examining primary sources and expert opinions to deepen your understanding. It tells you what you could do to follow up. And then you as the teacher can create a follow-up tutor and say, hey, this specific student, I need you to actually work on this a little bit more. So I want you to go back into the AI. I do think it's pretty cool. I mean, this has been interactive, just the student one-on-one with the AI. You notice some of the scores given were like 3 to 4. When I looked at a few of them earlier, we're not going to look at those now. I suspect it's because end of the year, I do want to do this, but I'm not as engaged as I am right now, or even I can't really remember much. Tough for the end of the year as an activity, but the students did quite well with it, I thought. So essentially, the students have a conversation based on prompts and resources you give, but can pull from the the internet, and it gives them feedback which you can also modify and give on your own. You can duplicate, you can share the session, and all that kind of thing. So what I want to do is go back, and I want to create something together. All right, so we've just gone through that, but let me just kind of come back to this and create that slideshow again. So remember, just to review here, it was the First World War. I wanted them to discover various arguments, meaning perspectives, for World War I responsibility. There's my prompt. I chose to be an investigative journalist, and then I used websites, YouTube videos, and PDF documents, and the assessment criteria was based on I&S years 4 and 5. Now, note, it wasn't the task-specific stuff. I could do that if I want. But let's look and see how we can build this. And just a disclaimer here, sometimes I kind of forget a little bit about how to do things, but you're going to walk me through, or you're going to walk through this with me. So how to build a tailor-made activity with Flint. So this is the topic. Again, I'm a history teacher as well as individuals and societies in the MYP. So I'm going with some topics that I know that I'm going to do this with next year. So the topic, remember too, this can be good for review as well. This doesn't have to be, I would actually myself at the beginning of the unit try this, and that way the students can learn a little bit more about what they're about to explore and as a review. So I'm going to go with the atomic bomb debate. This is one where I get the students to explore before we talk about it as a class. This is a topic that can be very, yes or no. Yes, it was justified. No, it was not justified. Where historians can actually say there's a lot of gray area here. Like this is one of those moral judgments here, and that's where it becomes a debate. So the objective is understand the for and against bombing arguments, not to make a decision, but to understand the arguments for and against. So was using, and that prompt's not finished. Sorry, my slide deck's incomplete. Was using atomic weapons justified? And the simulation I'm going to choose for this is an historian symposium. And again, I'm using websites, YouTube videos, and PDF documents. I could upload my own video if I wanted to. And it's the same assessment criteria. So let's go back to Flint here. I'm going to close this one. You note I've got all my documents here, plus I have some PDFs in a folder that I want to use. So note here at the top in the right, I've got Create Tutor, or I can go right down here and create my own tutor, but I could go to the templates as well. So I'm going to click Create My Own Tutor. And so right here on the side, this is where everything goes, right? This is where I'm going to start to build from. So first, what are my objectives? Let me just go back and copy and paste this. And normally I would do this. I'd have this written out already in my MYP documents. I'm going to paste that in. Understand the for and against arguments for using the atomic bomb on Japan. And I'm going to put in 1945. I mean, I don't need that specific. There only is one country and 2 cities that have been bombed. And what I'm going to do here is add the grade level. I'm not going to go with you. Well, let's see. MYP year 5. I'm going to choose that. And it's going to suggest the most suitable tutor formats based on the objectives we provide. I can go back and edit this kind of thing. The objectives here, I can upload a document or an image. I believe, let me just go tutor type, language, behavior, grading, and assignment, grading, not graded. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is click here, and I'm going to upload. Let's go to a Flint session. All right, first I'm going to upload reasons for the bombing. Let's see if I can upload more than one at one time here. Now, this can take a little bit of time, okay? I can upload images as well, and you can ask the AI to show you images. I do have good Wi-Fi here at home. While that's waiting, let me just go for, okay, good. You can see that that is there now. I've got that upload. Let me go with, I'm going to go with, start with Britannica, reliable. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to put a web link in. Whoops, let me cancel that web link. I'm going to enter that. And that one should go in. I'm going to choose another one. Notice that's uploading. I am just collecting the other things to upload. And again, this might take a little bit of time. I know this is live and it gets boring waiting, but it is what it is, right? As we are waiting, I'm just going to, show you a few other things to remember. You could have an assignment that's timed or untimed. You can ask the tutor to behave in certain ways. You choose the language. You can choose the tutor type. I like the chat. I might not put all of these in here right now. I can go back and edit when I intend to use this and assign it with students, and I do intend to use this. Let me, while that's going, can't hit that just yet. Okay. Once I get this in. Okay, that's taking a little bit of time, and we can hear some unhappy campers in the background there, but that's okay. All right, good. So I'm going to choose, let's go here to the tutor type. Okay, that's not, let me click next. Now, again, this depends on your Wi-Fi. My connection's pretty good. I'm not going to choose an essay tutor. Once this populates, you're going to see. So the 2D will engage in a debate with an historical expert who will present arguments for and against. There's an historical investigation, so they're playing the role of the historian. Here, let me just zoom in a little bit more here, right? So they're an expert, or they're an historian investigating the decision to use the atomic bomb. They're creating a mind map. That's kind of cool. I don't want to do that, though. What I want to do is say they're the role of an historian investigating. I'd like them to engage in a debate, actually. The essay tutor you can choose, and that's just going to create a tutor, but I'm going to choose, sorry, this is going to populate this one. An essay debate, it's going to be a debated role play or an interactive argument map. I recommend you play with these. I'm going to go with a chat tutor, though, and I'm going to choose they're talking to an expert. They're getting into a debate with an historian. Now, here you can choose a tutor behavior, which is really good. So I'm going to keep with the auto grading. Show the grading rubric. Yep, I'm going to choose that. Now, the rubric, they've already got here created for you. I want to go back and create that. So I'm going to change that, actually. Let me go up here to objectives, and I'm going to upload my assessment criteria. And now, again, this is going to take a moment. Note here, they've already created that prompt that I want to use. And when this is ready, we'll go into the next little bit here. I'm going to choose English. Could be reading only. I'm going to go with writing, though. Of course, I want my students to write. All right. So I'm going to choose my reading level. I'm going to put grade 10. I'm going to revise that. Okay, good. And I'm going to go to my tutor type. We've already put that in. Now I'm going to go to my language. I'm going to go with English United Kingdom, actually. I'm going to go with the British English. Let's see. Okay, things have changed just a little bit. I've got some rules here. Encourage the independent thinker rather than providing direct answers. Yep, I like that. Always follow up with a question based on the tutor's answer. I like that. Anyway, you can change these if you want. I'm going to go back to grading now, and I'm going to click Add a Grade. In fact, I'm going to take these out. Junk. And I'm going to click Add Grade, and I'm going to MYP. This is one that I wasn't really sure. Let me enter that. Okay, that's not allowing me to do that. So I'm going to have to go back and fix that one. Okay, we got the behavior, we got the language, tutor type. Yep. And with the learning objective, US 11th grade, 10th grade. Yep. Again, this is, I've been using this a lot. Let me go back to grading. Let me go back to assignment. No deadline, duration. I'm not going to give them. Pause tutor. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, the grading one. See, now it's got me here. Grading rubric. Describe how the 2D session should be. The grade is MYP 4-5. Let me enter that and see what happens. MYP year 4-5. I'm going to click create. I might have to go back and fix that a little bit. I can't remember if I had to actually copy and paste things in there. Okay, so I've lost you a little bit there, but okay, so here's the deal. It's unlisted. So what I can do is click on that, and then I can open it up to anybody at Nagoya International School, or I can make it private. and only specific members can access that. That's what I would normally do. I would keep it, actually, I would keep it within my school as unlisted, open to Nagoya International School so other teachers could use it. And if I click here, I can choose MYP I&S 10 because that's the one that I want. And if I click here, I can invite specific people. I can, for example, let's go click that name here, and it's going to give me the names of people students that I might want to put in. But what I can do though is just copy that link, and what I'll do is put it into our learning management system. And I'll say, go to this link, click on it, and then you're going to come in. And then I just have to click update. So I'm going to close that though, because I don't want to make this yet. All right. Now let's go with, let's say I want to click on share tutor. I can do that thing again. That's what we just saw. If I click on tutor settings, that's going to allow me to go back in and change things. So the role, again, historical expert. If I want to make it a little bit more helpful, I can make it full. I intend to keep this at a medium level. And then here, again, the rules, you might want to add your own specific rules as well. Like students are not allowed to upload documents, or students are not allowed to ask the AI for a specific answer, that kind of thing. Lower the reading level, I could do that as well just by editing it. And again, this is essentially how you would use it. Note here, okay, I've got year 4 and 5 here. Those are the session analytics. And this is going to give me something that it might actually look like in terms of what a conversation might look like. Okay, so let me go back to the objectives here. If you click on learn more, it's going to tell you a little bit more. You get pop-ups if you're not sure how to use things, but you can see this is overall pretty user-friendly. And what I'm going to do after this session is actually go and grab these and pop these in because I intend to use this later on in this school year. So let me just go back to the slideshow here. Okay, so basically let's go way back here. That was Flint. And if you were to get them, it's Flint K12, as in K to 12. So Flint K12, if you're looking for them on X, formerly known as Twitter. But if you do a Google search looking for Flint AI, then it will come up. I was impressed. I really like it, and I do intend to use it with my students for regular class activities, but also as a pre-assessment, like how much do you know about a topic, and then a post-unit assessment too. I think there's a lot of different ways you could use this. My students enjoyed it. They said they got something from it. You can create a copy of that conversation and give it to your students as well if you want that as evidence of learning, and then go back and grade that, for example. So yeah, I think there's a lot you can do with this. I'll probably do another session on Flint down the road because I'm still figuring this out myself, but I was impressed enough with using it in the demo that I do intend to use it again. And again, I'm telling you about it so you can go have a look at it for yourselves. So again, you can keep in touch with me. In fact, let me just jump through this deck here. My name, @Nathan Gildart, if you get me on X or Twitter, edtechtrainer.com if you want to find these session slides, which I will post in the chat when we're done here, in the comments on YouTube. And you can find me at socialstudiessamurai.com. Got an update coming with that, and on YouTube for videos on how to make social studies teaching a little bit more enjoyable for your students. Anyhow, if you've joined in real time, thank you. And if not, that's just fine. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here. Note, GEG Asia Pacific has other stuff going on throughout the year. I'm doing another session in about 30 minutes on using Gemini, Google's AI for the social studies classroom. And again, we have something for New Delhi NCR, Google Educator Group's New Delhi NCR, coming up tomorrow. So have a look for that and find us at GEG Asia Pacific. Thanks for joining. How about before I end the stream, I am going to get this link popped in for you. If you want to go back and see the stuff that was in this session slides right here. All right. Have a look. Thanks for watching. See you again.